welcome to another show of Don't Get This Twisted. I am Rob, along with my co-host, as always, Tina. How you doing, Tina?
I'm good, Rob. After that 12 hours of sleep with the time change, I should be raring to go today.
Raring and ready to go.
I don't know what happened. I woke up and it's like a whole new afternoon.
The thing, I like the time change, except I hate that it gets dark early. That bothers me, but it is what it is. I'm
agree with that.
I'm one for the daylight savings. I like to actually have really later nights.
Yeah, absolutely.
And supposedly, I think that California is supposed to never go back to it. Is that what I understand? That
we're really?
Never gonna. That's what I've heard. We're never gonna time change ever again.
This is the last one?
I think. I don't know. I have to look it up. I hope not. Whoever signed that into law should be beaten.
You know what I was hearing was that heart attacks and different things go up right about now by about, I want to say it was 27% because of it affecting people's sleep.
Wow.
That the sleep is that important that the time change actually causes problems for people's bodies. Their circadian rhythm, right?
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Let's see. Yeah, if you look it up, daylight savings times next year, it says it changes in March. So maybe we're good, and it's not going to. Because like I can't do that. I don't like that. If they do that, we'll have to strike or whatever we do. Protest.
Go loot in the streets.
Yeah, loot in the streets for the time to be better. So this week, we've had an idea of doing like a 20 question show with friends and having people on. So we thought, hey, why don't we test the waters first? We're probably going to use a lot of these same questions on these shows because I think they're interesting, but there's also a list of growing questions. I'm sure that they'll continue to grow. As of right now, we have like over 100. So, yeah, I found a lot of them online just by typing in interesting questions because I think when you start digging into social questions, you kind of get some pretty crazy answers or just questions in general about life and things like that. So I send it to you and I'm going to let you pick first.
Okay, we'll just start off with one. I'm just going to throw it out there. What's your biggest fear?
Ooh, water.
Water?
I don't like the ocean. Yeah, I really don't like the ocean.
Are you kidding?
It's no. Not water like in a pool. Like it's the ocean. I love swimming in a pool, but I don't like the ocean. There's too many things in it and it's way too strong. So I do not like, I don't even like flying over it.
Really?
No.
You know, growing up, my dad used to give us a couple of boogie boards and take us out into the ocean. And we would literally live in the water all day long, come in to eat and then go back out and be on those boogie boards all day long and get toppled over and really messed up, like rock rash and sand rash and everything.
Right.
But we loved it. I don't mind the ocean at all.
My boy loves it.
Really?
Absolutely loves the ocean. Goes boogie boarding, swimming in it, loves it. I'm not a fan. I love the beach. I'll sit on the beach all day long and I love listening to the ocean and looking at it, but I'll go in probably to my knees, maybe to my waist. But
what?
Yeah, I don't like the ocean. No, I'm not a fan.
I went to the ocean not too long ago and it was just freaking hot. And I was kind of in a bitchy mood. And I took off as much as I could take off or wanted to take off in public and jumped all the way in and swam around for a little bit, got out and came home sandy. It was disgusting. But I enjoyed being in the water. I don't know why I don't do that more often.
All right. I'll throw one at you. If you could be born in any other year of era, what would it be? Other than when you were born, obviously. Is there another time period?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know, because for me, being so me, I don't think I'd want to live in a time where I couldn't be a woman, be a strong woman, or if I had to be subservient, I don't know if I could handle that. So let me think. What era? Damn.
And it could be for different reasons. Like, look, I think as you go further back than the 70s, yes, you're going to run into a more probably less woman friendly, but more of a family friendly. So you probably wouldn't work. So like if you went to the 50s and 60s, you would
maybe the 20s.
Oh, the 20s were an interesting time period. A lot more wild than people think.
Yeah. That's what I'd have to say. I don't know. But for me, I don't know, because I really liked being a teenager in the 80s. And the 90s were my 20s. Like, what wasn't to like then? Everything was going good. I was making a shit ton of money in the 90s as a hairdresser. And I don't know. It wasn't that bad of a time. I don't think I'd pick like coming up now. Now I think kids don't have. They're not getting the best of the world, but
I think I would pick only for something a stupid reason, like the 40s. I think were great. The 40s and early 50s because of how men dressed. Like it was just a different time. Like we were, and I think everybody. It was just a different. Men wore suits every day and a hat, and actually kind of even in your off time you wore a collared shirt, and I think it was just a more sophisticated time. I think now we've and I'm just as bad because I wear shorts every day, but it's a different totally different time period.
I get you.
Next,
what is your favorite movie to watch over and over again?
Oh man, that one's a loaded question because I'm a pop culture nerd. So, God, I could watch so many different movies. There's probably a laundry list of ones, but I'm a Star Wars geek, so I would probably say Star Wars or Empire Strikes Back. I can watch that over and over and over again. I love those movies. Probably one that's not pop culture, but or nerdy. I love Braveheart. I can watch Braveheart no matter. I don't care when it's on or when during. Like if I'm going through the channels, if I see it and it's on, I will stop and watch it.
Yeah,
it's just one of my favorites. I love it. It's such a compelling story of the underdog, even though most of it's not actually true, but it's definitely a one for me. Do you have one?
Nice. Oh God. If Steel Magnolias comes on, and I know the words to this movie because one of my best friends at the time, she used to like to watch it too, and we'd watch it over and over and over again. Or another one was Sleeping with the Enemy. That movie kind of freaked me out. But if it's on, I will sit and watch it. But again, these are like 80s movies. 16 Candles, I will always stop and watch that one. Gosh, there's so many. Anything, pretty much any 80s type of movie. If I see it, 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, all those type, I'll watch those if I see them. Anything with Medea, believe it or not, because she is, her attitude cracks me up, but she says things that actually have meaning, that there's tools in there that you could get out of her movies while you're seeing her act like a fool. So I don't know. I watch bad movies. I watch bad TV when I watch TV, which is probably why I quit watching it. So,
right.
Yeah.
And just a little throw out. I watched a movie last night called The Prisoners. It's on, I think it was on Prime. Check it out. It's really good. Really good. It's a detective one.
Okay.
Let's see. what gives you the meaning of life? Or I'm sorry, what gives your life meaning? Like, what is?
I think now that I'm older, I think that everything in life has meaning. Spending time with my family, talking to my niece and nephew about things that they're going through, helping my friends out when people come to me for advice, which I always say I am no one's moral compass, and they really shouldn't ask me my opinion, because my opinion's not what is common, in society.
Right.
But I feel like I have a really good, tight-knit community of people, and sharing with them, being there for them, enjoying life with them, it brings me a lot of meaning. So I would say that.
Nice.
What about you?
I would say family. I think in general, the roundabout thing that should give you most of your meaning of life is the people close to you. Mm-hmm. So, and as you get older, I think you start losing family. So it even becomes more of a tight niche. And then I think after that, obviously, it's relationship and friends. Those are the things. People, I think, is what keep us going. The lack thereof human contact is what makes people batty.
Yeah.
And definitely drives you into something of what most people would say is a wasted life. I don't think any life is wasted. I just think that you have to find your your compass, however you need to get there. I think that everything has some purpose.
I get you. Here's one. If you were suddenly arrested for no reason and your face was to flash all over the news, what would your family and friends assume that you did?
My case, probably kill somebody.
Holy shit.
I didn't say murder. I just said probably killed somebody, probably in self-defense. I would probably be in this guy was in a location where something bad happened and he had to use a gun to stop it, or it would probably be more that. I don't think it would be murder. That's not my game, but I definitely think it would be something like that, or hopefully saving someone's life in some fashion. I wouldn't, I'm not one to go down that murder path. There's, I know that some people would say taking life is that, but I think in self-defense, it wouldn't be. At least that's what I hope my thing would be. It would be, he did some, good deed. I don't see myself going down any other road, thankfully. I'm far too old to do prison time now. I don't want to.
Oh God, no.
Yeah. What about you? What would be your
I don't know,
your
probably
flash?
Having sex in public or something. Not in public, but like getting caught with somebody. Yeah. It'd have to be something stupid, because I don't really do anything wrong.
Like, we have a funny story of a young lady getting caught in a department store. And you're like,
once in a while, I might be doing something I shouldn't be doing, but it's not like bad. I mean,
right.
Well, it's not good, but it's not bad.
See, my story would be the lead story. Yours would be like, buried after weather. They'd be like, and in a weird thing, this is what happened at the Northridge Fashion Mall. Someone was caught having sex on video. Yeah, that would be, I can see that. Yeah. Mine would be, I'm sure, a little more lead story. And today we have this crazy person.
Right.
Which superpower would you want?
Oh, I thought about this a lot. And I think being like invisible would be good, because God, the things I always say, oh, what I wouldn't give to be a fly on a wall. I wouldn't have to be a fly, and I wouldn't have to sit on a wall, but I would still have that access. But then I thought flying would kind of be cool, because then I could go far and see things and do things like with no drama. But then I also think Aquaman being able to talk to all the marine life, that would kind of be cool too, considering I like the ocean.
Right, exactly.
I don't know, but I think if I had to, I'd probably go with being invisible.
Invisible. I can see that. I think that I think invisibility would it would be super awesome, but also probably tear you down a lot because you'd probably hear things that you never wanted to.
Oh, I hear shit anyway. I don't care.
Yeah.
I got a thicker skin than that.
I would like super strength. Just be able to just
huck a car around.
Yeah. Pick up a car and throw it around. Or never be afraid of any kind of involvement in things. I think would be, Superman. I mean, Superman's got the, super strength and that kind of stuff. Flying would be cool. I could see how you could like that. Be able to just get across the world in a microsecond.
I get to Greece in a minute.
Yeah. Poof. Already there on the beach.
I'll be back by dinner.
Yeah, I think we would all like some kind of fast travel. Who wouldn't want that?
Right.
As people, we would always want to be able to travel instantaneous. Yeah. They better never come up with that kind of travel. Just bink. Oh, bink, bink, bink. Just be wherever you wanted. We'd all be in trouble. That would be
awesome.
It would be incredible. It would be incredible. But we'd all be in trouble because you could never have a passport ever again. How to be able to travel that quickly and just show up somewhere? Be awesome.
Who'd want a passport? I don't even want one now. I don't think they have any right to know where I'm going.
No, but what I'm saying is you could just pop up in anywhere at any time. How do you control all the people? But that would be a great superpower. Just blink and you're wherever you want for sure.
Here's one. What is the worst thing that a person can put on a bio on a dating app?
Oh man.
There's so many things.
I guess it all matters what you're looking for. I mean, being in the dating market and reading some of them, it's almost hilarious. I've read so many that are if you're a Trumpster, swipe left. It's wow, your political party.
That's a category that will stop people from dating.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's just that's one of them that I've read. Obviously pronouns. If you have any kind of conservative values, you're okay, you're just a headache. Mm-hmm. And that's probably the vice versa. The same thing. If you're a Trumpster, people are oh, for me, I don't think I really have one. The only one that I think is just total nonsense and bullshit is that everyone says love to travel. Well, yeah, we all love to travel
and hike.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a pretty big one. Hiking. Yeah. Love to hike.
Does anybody really hike? I know a few people, but I think they're full of shit.
I think people do. I just think that, by saying that, it's do you do it every weekend? Is that what you do every weekend? It's yes, we all love to do certain things. And to say I love to travel. It's okay, what does that mean? Most of us get a week off every year. Do you really love to travel or do you love to take a vacation every year? Because I think that's the reality.
No, I like to travel. I like to, if I had known that my weekend plans were going to be, shit this weekend, I would have went somewhere, but everything happened at the last minute. So I didn't get to. I do take off.
But I think that's weekending. That's okay. Weekending is not traveling. Traveling to me is
back till Wednesday.
But okay, let's say you're going to do a weekender, oh, we're going to go to Vegas or we're going to go to San Diego. To me, that's not traveling. That's weekending. Traveling is hey, we're going to get up and we're going to get on a flight and we're going to Miami for the week, or we're going to, Nashville, or we're going to go to New York. You're traveling. You're actually spending lots of time in a certain place. A weekend in Vegas or a weekend in San Diego is just a fun weekend to me. That's okay, we're going to weekend because you can go anywhere for a couple of days. Yeah. Traveling to me is traveling.
I still travel a lot though. I would definitely say.
And I think that it's okay, but to put to me, it's okay, by putting that on there, you're setting yourself up for failure. Because if you go to somebody and be yeah, we can do this or that, are you talking about you plan on traveling the country 4 times a year? It's who can do that?
Yeah.
I don't know. What were you like in high school?
Mm. I was into everything. I was in all the classes, all the nerdy classes, hung out with a lot of the jocks, had a boyfriend pretty much the whole time I was in school. Very talkative, very into everything. Very good student, still screwed around a lot. I don't know. I was the kid that the administrators put strategically with kids that were in trouble because I kind of brought different things out of them or made them go to class or, encourage them to do better. So I was kind of put in different situations by the administration to help out other kids just because I was so into everything. That's how I was. How are you, Rob?
I was a very introverted kid.
You were
mostly. I had a core group of friends, and I hung out with like pretty much everybody. Like I was friends with everybody. I had friends who were cheerleaders and jocks and metalheads. Pretty much everything. Shit, I knew like straight up gang members.
Yeah,
but I was very much more open when I was out of school because I'm a pop culture geek. I collected comic books, and in those times you didn't tell anybody you did that. Like now, nerds play quarterback.
Yeah,
it's a totally different time. So I was I had friends and I talked to people, but I was a very small group, and I pretty much just waited until school was out. And I wasn't the greatest student. I wasn't horrible, but I was very just average. I loved art. So if I could draw and doodle, I did that.
I'm going to tell a Rob story. Rob got me in trouble one time because we were taking state testing and we were in our communicators class. So we were privileged. We got to do a lot more than most kids did in class because we took this class, and it was our homeroom class as well. And we were supposed to be serious and take the state test. And you drew a picture of what it would look like if a man and woman were having sex and we were looking up at from in between their legs. And you sent that around, and I couldn't stop laughing. I don't know. I didn't get offended. A couple of the kids did, but I thought it was really funny, and I had to go out of the class because I couldn't stop laughing. You did shit like that. Like you didn't get in trouble, but you do things that would help us get in trouble.
Correct. I was definitely a class
and you
clown.
were really good at drawing.
Yeah, I could draw sexual organs.
Yes.
It's true. I mean, I didn't get in a lot of trouble, but I definitely I goofed off way too much. So it is what it is. Thankfully, it was a long time ago. What you got?
What's the best advice you ever received?
Ooh, wow. Oh man, that's pretty hard. I don't know. I've got a lot of good advice from a lot of different people. Probably something my dad probably had told me at some point. Obviously hard work will get you far, and it's true. Unfortunately, I didn't learn that also until I was way later in life. I think, thankfully we've gotten a lot of small things from a lot of people. So it's not like I can't tell you that there was this big grandiose thing like this changed my life. I just think that I've listened to a lot of people say a lot of things that I've just stacked them on top of each other. A lot of advice in wrestling, obviously, treat people with respect and they'll treat you back. You don't have to cheat your way to the top. If you find a way to garner respect, you'll get it and you'll earn what is coming to you. And I've tried to do that in work, probably later in life, but learn something. Actually, probably the best advice I've ever got is learn so much they can't fire you. And it's a true statement. You can when you become, expendable, it's easy to get rid of you. But when you're not, no matter what you do, you can get in trouble a little bit here and there, and they'll be like, we have to keep them. So that's probably one of the bigger ones. What about you?
A couple of things. I remember a teacher in high school told me that I don't care what you want to be in life, be the best you could be. And that always sat with me because it forced me to rise to the occasion and be better than I may have been had I not had that stuck in my head. And my dad just told me something the other day because, everybody seems to have an opinion on what I'm supposed to be doing in my life right now because I'm single and I went through the divorce. And I don't think anybody's particularly happy that I'm still close with my ex. We're not doing anything, like it's not sexual or anything, but we're still confidants. We still got each other's back and everything. And I was talking to my dad about that. And my dad said, Tina, I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times, fuck everybody that has an opinion about you and what you're doing in your life. Are you a bad person? And I'm like, I don't think so. He goes, no, you're not. But do you march to the beat of somebody else's drum? You've never been that kid. So fuck them. Don't listen to them. Do whatever you're going to do. Be happy. Make yourself happy. And whatever happens after that, it's on your terms. And that, it's funny because people get mad at me for being too Tina. And I'm like, well, if you fucking only knew, my parents wanted me like this. They didn't want some pushover chick that was going to take it from a guy for her whole life and never live up to her own standards. That was not how I was raised.
Right.
And so, I don't know. I kind of was just always taught to be more me. And that's not always good for everybody in this life.
That's very true.
So
here's one, since you were just talking about something that's close to that. What's the worst thing about being single?
When you're sick and you need something from the store and nobody's around, I think that's the worst thing. Because being single is not bad. Being single is kind of liberating. I don't have to ask anybody's permission. I don't get anybody's expectations put on me. I don't. And I think sometimes going to bed without somebody, I would say that's not fun sometimes, because I like to lay diagonal across the bed and look like somebody killed me and I just laid straight down. So I don't know. I don't think life is that bad being single.
Right. I've been single so long that to me, it's just having someone to communicate with.
Yeah.
Everything else, I do myself. So I don't I tried to tell some people before that, I don't need a woman. I want one. There's a difference.
Yeah. Oh, big difference.
And to me, is having someone to lean on and communicate with, and person to person. Look, we can all do it via text, but there is still something about looking at somebody and having them look back at you and communicate. And to me, I think that's totally important.
You know what I didn't do, though, is I didn't answer the question about what's the worst thing to put on a dating site. Oh, yeah. And I've got a list. Do you want me to run through these real quick?
Yeah, run through them real quick.
Any facial tattoos, turn your face the other way. That's... If you want to date somebody, may not be the type of people that I would date.
So your red flag is a picture.
Yeah. Or I love when they're flipping the camera off. Why would you put that on a dating app?
Yeah.
Or religious quotes instead of pictures. Or hiking. Hiking's another one with people, but I'm like, no personality. Right. Or all the initials, this is my personality type, ILB something.
Oh,
I can't with that bullshit.
Right.
Or smoking, if they're smoking in a picture, or they're hugging other women, or
right.
There's so many things.
I think smoking is going to die with our generation.
I don't know, because everybody vapes.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's just a different. I mean, I don't mean it's gonna go away, but I think just the tobacco part, because like being around my kid, like he can't stand it. I mean, he smells it from so far away, and he just shits on it all the time. Like, I can't believe you guys. I'm like, no, I hear you, and thankfully, I think that cigarettes are going to die with our generation, and I think that it's less.
That wouldn't be a bad thing.
No. I got one for you. This is kind of, and it's so like, it can be taken so many bad ways. What's the weirdest thing in your closet?
Oh, Jesus.
The good part is that there's a way out of it, but yeah.
The weirdest thing?
Mm-hmm.
Besides like play
It
toys?
doesn't matter. That I mean, I guess weird is weird to whoever's looking at it.
My guns and play toys.
I guess if they're together, that would be
They're on the same shelf.
Yeah. So, they both have a mission.
I just said that.
They both have a mission. That's why
I'm looking straight in my closet and I'm like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I don't have anything that I think someone would consider weird, because like, I have, just like most people, I have guns or I think the weirdest thing that when someone looked in, I have a thing for wax candles, like the Bernie thingies, the Scentsies. Mm-hmm. And I'll pick up scents all the time because I'm kind of a stickler. I hate a smelly house. So it's nice to just throw it on there. I had a friend of mine. She looked in my I have like an offshoot closet, like a towel closet, but it's in my bedroom. So I guess linens. It would probably be for linens. She was looking in there, and I probably had, and I'm not joking, I probably have like 30 little things of wax candles. And she was like, how many of these do you need? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I go to the market, and if I go by and I go, oh man, this sounds like it smells good, and I'll sniff it and I'll throw it in there. So I have a shit ton, and I'm sure that she was like, you have way too many. It's way too many. I'm like, all right.
There's never way too many if it's something that you like.
No, I know, but I just thought, I think, me being this, big tattooed guy, she didn't think that I'd have a bunch of scenty candles in my closet. So look, we all got something that is different than what people think we are. Like, I wouldn't say that you had play toys and guns in there. I would go, nah, all right. If you said, you had a high top pair of clown shoes, I would probably go, oh, that's a little different. That's so what you have is, I wouldn't say is weird.
That's as weird as it gets. There's not.
I guess that just shows how you're kind of, you're kind of regular.
Kind of normal.
Yeah, like the rest of us.
Here's one. If you had to guess what people appreciate you the most for, what would you say?
Oh, it's a double-edged sword. I'd say honesty, because I say it like it is. And a lot of people don't like that, but a lot of people go, okay, at least that's just who you are. It's got me in a lot of trouble, lots of trouble on every level too. Work. It got me in a lot of trouble in wrestling locker rooms, because someone would go, hey, what do you think about this? And I go, that's fucking stupid. And it would just get really quiet, like, because no one was thinking that they were going to have to hear that. So I was like, nah. So my blatant honesty. I've done my best in the last few years to turn it down to like 7 instead of 11. But
I get you.
Sometimes I can't. It's just people or situations, or the company you work for does something that's just utterly dumb. And someone's like, what do you think? I go, said, and I'll just, verbal diarrhea. It comes out of my mouth, and I just can't help myself. And I'm trying to do better. Like I let it come in my ear now and I let it sit for a second and then I say something, because if I just react, it's generally not a good sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I end up coming out and calling people. I'll give you an example. A friend of mine and me were talking about a man in her life, and the guy's just a fucking idiot. And I found out, I'd never seen him, but I had found out that he's short, like utterly short. So she was saying something about him, and I was like, shouldn't that guy be pouring sugar in a chocolate river somewhere? And and it didn't hit her right away. And she's like, huh? And I go, Oompa Loompa, small people. And she was like, oh, that's pretty damn funny. But it's something like that where like I can't help myself. It just pops out. And yeah, so I got to be careful about stuff like that. What about you? What is your...
Everybody calls me for advice, and I'm like, no, I don't want to give you advice because it could get you in trouble. But I think that what I hear is people like that I show up, that if they need me, I'm there. And also that I will give them my perception on things. But ultimately, it's just do it. If you want to do this, do it. Like, how do I need to help you so you could do whatever it is you do? And whether it's a mess or it's going to be the greatest thing ever, experience it. I'm the one that always encourages people to try and to do things, even if it's not the best idea.
Right.
Because I don't think we're put on this earth to be perfect. I think we're put on this earth to learn. And if somebody wants to take a ride and learn something, I'm like, please do it. And then I want to hear about it, because I don't need perfect people in my life. I need people that are just going for it, Yes. I like that better.
I totally agree. Here's one that, what unusual thing do you find attractive in a person?
There's a few things. A crooked smile is one. Somebody that's kind of cocky. I really like confident, kind of cocky people. Someone who's very kind. Like, if you see, for me, just the other day, a man was in a grocery store and saw a little kid, and his mom was doing whatever he was doing. And he just waved to the kid, and the kid got a big smile, and he got a big smile. That was attractive. It's not the muscles. It's not the car. It's not, it was the little acts of kindness that you see that are not normal, that I really do find. But a crooked smile will get me every time.
I'm kind of like you, where I find things that most people don't find attractive in themselves attractive. I have a friend who, I'm sure she's not going to be happy, but one of her eyes is bigger than the other by just a little bit. And she sent me a picture one time of her, and I was like, oh, it's the most attractive. Like, there's something just super sexy about it. And it's not even like it's a fault. It's not like this thing where it's just, there's something about it. And I think that that's what I find attractive in people. Things that most people either don't like about themselves, or things that most people would go, oh, that's kind of odd. Because I think that we're all so unique. Different and unique. Yeah, that these small things. And people said the same thing about me, like things that I don't like about myself. They're like, oh, I really kind of like that about you. And I was like, I'm like, oh, God, I hate that. and I think that maybe that's just because we see things, we see beauty differently in everyone. And like you said, like a crooked smile or something that's so different. You don't like perfect teeth. You don't have to have perfect teeth to me. You know what I mean? And some
just
people
have
are like,
all of them.
No,
it would be nice to
right. Yeah. Yeah. Or at least have them replaced, like have something in their place. But to me, it's like something like that. And I like that things about certain people that usually it's the things they don't like about themselves I find the most attractive. And I know that that's odd, but definitely part of it.
I agree. If you could be a part of a TV family, which family would you choose?
Oh, I'm sorry. What was that? One more time?
If you could be a part of a TV family, which family would you choose?
Oh boy. Let's see. You know, we come from the 90s. I just love Married with Children. I just think that they're dysfunctional, but still love each other. Like they're this very odd, very Simpsons like, where, you know, they're just a mess all over the place. But in the end, they'd always defend each other. Mm-hmm. So it's like this very odd where they're always, you know, bumping heads and always kind of smacking each other around. But the first time someone, you know, messes with someone in the family, they all want to throw down. Mm-hmm. So I like that. It's very I mean, there's a few of them that are like that. Simpsons, the Married with Children family, Roseanne. They're all kind of always at each other.
Roseanne was how my friends used to describe my life when I was in high school. Like, your mom is just like Roseanne. And, you know, the family was very much not so much the kids, because my brother and I were really close and we weren't dark or anything. We were just like nuts back in the day, like just busy and wild and having a good time. But definitely Roseanne was just a lot like my mom back then. So, I mean, I could go for that. I could go for that, but I think Bewitched would be kind of cool, because then you could, like, you know,
have a little magic
spells and a little magic. Yeah.
A little magic. Yeah.
I think that would have been a cool one.
I think another one would be like That 70s Show, because the parents in that, like my dad was kind of like that, where he would say crazy shit to my friends because he was just kind of like the old Southern, like, people were afraid of my dad until they met him. And then they were like, oh, your dad's like super cool. It's like, yeah, he had a rough exterior, but once you got to know him, he was like, it's kind of cool. So here's one. What is the best and worst part of your personality?
The best and worst?
Yes. What is the best and worst part about your personality?
That I'm loud.
That's both.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because when we're at a party, everybody's like, fuck yeah, Tina's getting it started. But when we're in church, maybe not.
I would say with you, you're loud when you're supposed to be. It's when you're, maybe when everything's winding down, you're still loud.
Yeah.
And
I could take a party a little bit longer than most people can.
Right. Yeah. And I think that most people who are like that are always like that as well. Like most of the loud people I know, when you're like, oh man, they're still like, you're like, dude, you need to turn that shit down to 5 and chill out. And you're always at like an 8.
Yeah.
Like you're always riding at an 8 when everyone else is at a 4, and you're like, what? Why are you guys like this? And it's like,
I used to think I was lazy too. Like I had to keep that energy going all the time. And everybody's like, no, you're too fucking out there. Like sometimes when everybody wants to be lazy, you still got the engines revving. It's okay to calm down, but I never felt like I was doing enough. So I think that was just me trying to keep myself going and be motivated. Right. But yeah. Y'all are weak. No.
Yeah. Best and worst with me is probably a few different things that are opposites. Like I can be super outgoing, but I can be super introverted, and it could be day to day. And I think a lot of people don't know how to handle that, where I can be like really wanting to do something and then shut down not too far before it's time to do it. And but I do myself now to work on that. Like I if I commit to something now, I commit to it. I don't jump out of that anymore. But I would say in my late 20s and early 30s, I was very bad about doing that, where I was just like, yeah, I'll do this. And then when it got close to it, I'm like, fuck, I don't want to do this, and just flake or not do it. And I would say probably when I came back to California, I was like, okay, I can't do that anymore, because it's very, it's just too roller coastery, and I try not to be a roller coaster like that anymore. So I would say that would be the best, is I am like, yeah. And then, but the worst would be that I can shut off pretty quickly. And I'm still like that, but I'm doing my best not to be.
Get you. Okay, here's one. Of all the personal questions that I could ask you, what one would you not want to answer?
Oh, wow. That's a hard one. I'm so open. Like I'm really, really open about everything. Is there a personal question? I don't know. I don't think so. I'm pretty open. I guess there's got to be something though. Like, I think if I was I think once I'm in a relationship with somebody, I'm very, I close off the outside world to what's going on in that. Mm-hmm. So like, I'm very, leading up to things, like I'll tell you that I'm in love with somebody, and I'll tell you where I'm at in a situation. But I think I try to close people out once I'm in something, because I've learned that the more you talk on the outside to people, the worse it gets. Because then you end up getting like a work time girlfriend you're always talking to, or there's, I try to shut people off about relationships once I'm in them, because it doesn't go well when you start talking outside of that.
Right.
What about you?
I've been dodging this question all morning, hoping that you didn't ask, and that is, what is your biggest regret?
Oh, my biggest regret.
I don't want to answer that because I don't want to hurt people.
My biggest regret. I'm
not answering this question, by the way.
Okay.
Unless you want to talk off.
My biggest regret. I don't think I have one. I have a few. I think one was when I was 18 and I didn't think I deserved somebody, so I let them go away. And I probably shouldn't have. I probably should have been a little more. And again, I was young, so who knows where that would have went. And then I wouldn't say it's my biggest regret, but I do have a regret that I shouldn't have. I'm a little intense when it comes to things. So when I like somebody, they know it. And was probably a little more intense than I should have been. And I think I've learned, and that was several years ago. And I now know that it's better to just step back and let things fall into place. You can't force anything.
Yeah.
And that's with any relationship. I would have said my marriage, but I don't think I have any regrets in that. It happened, and how it happened was what it was for. And I got a great kid from it. But I think that's a lot of people's regret, marriage. So I don't know.
And you know what? That's not mine. Believe it or not.
That's good.
I'm grateful that I did it. I learned a lot from him. He was very, very smart. He helped refine the person that I am. And I mean, we went out shopping yesterday together. Like we're cool together. So I don't regret that at all. But yeah, definitely have regrets.
Yeah.
What are 3 things you're looking for in a partner?
That's your number 10, just so you know.
Okay, good.
What are 3 things I'm looking for in a partner? Honesty. I think that's a good one. And I think most of us are looking for these things. So I don't think it's going to be any big revelation. Honesty, loyalty. I think loyalty is a big thing. And to me, knowing that you have a direction of where you want the relationship to go, you have to have some. I think too many people jump into things for whatever reasons they're jumping into them. And I think having, I don't even know the wording for it. I guess direction, knowing what you want, because those are the things that I guess, vision, I guess would be the best way. A vision, loyalty, and honesty. Honesty is huge. Like, you have to be able to be honest to somebody. And I think honesty and communication kind of walk hand in hand. That those are two things that are like one thing. Being honest and being able to communicate are big. Loyalty, I think, is everyone wants loyalty, and you should. It's an important part. And I think vision, a vision for where you want the relationship to go. And a lot of people don't have that. We jump into things way too fast, and then you realize a year later that you've gotten into something that you can't get out of. I don't want that. I want something that you can work on slowly. And I think that's people jump from dating to whatever they call it now way too fast. Mm-hmm. What about you? Name your three.
I want someone with a high sex drive.
Okay. Huh?
That just makes life fun. I want someone that wants to be around me, that's happy with talking to me and doing things with me and having a good time traveling, like being in the same space. And they have to be someone that just really communicates with me. I don't need somebody that's perfect. I don't need somebody that, they cannot tell a lie, because I think in a relationship, sometimes it's just better to kind of push the sand over like what's going on. I don't think knowing everything is the best way all the time. Not that I'm saying I want somebody that's a liar. That's not true. But someone that has a little bit of grace with their honesty, maybe.
Sure. I that's part of honesty, though. It's being able to deliver that without being an asshole.
Right.
Because anyone can say, "Hey, you're a fucking idiot," and that's not communication. Communication is, "Hey, we're in this space. How do we fix it?"
Right. And intimacy and sex, like, you get into one of those relationships and that goes out the window. And for me, that breaks the bond of being close. So
yes,
I think it's really important to have. And even as we get older and maybe sex isn't the deal, there still needs to be that affection, that connection, that drive to want to be with me. So
yeah,
that would be
I always tell people this, look, at some point you have to look at the reality of, I want somebody who can walk on a beach with me holding hands, watching a sunset, because at some point
I need more than that.
No. I mean, in general, though, that's that should be the base of any relationship is being able to do that, because that might be the only thing you're able to do in life. And I'm talking about age. You might be 80. You have to be.
Well, of course, you'd still want somebody that walks at that point.
yeah. But I mean, the intimacy of holding hands, and to me, that's important. And I don't know if that's. I don't know. I'm not in a relationship, so I can't tell you that. But it's.
And I don't think it's that. It's, for me, it's more. I want someone who doesn't even realize they're putting their hand in mine. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be an intimate thing. Right.
It shouldn't be being done because you have to. It should be being done because you want to.
Because you need it.
Yes. And it's important. It's for sure. Here, my last question, since this is the last question, I'll do a funny one. Would you rather move to a new country where you don't know anyone, or run away with the circus?
Go to a country where I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
Circus people are, as wild as I am, they're a little bit more than I'd want to be.
No carnies for you, right?
No, it's just some things go too far.
Yeah. I mean, I understand the whole moving to a new country and not knowing anyone. I think you have to be a certain kind of person to do that, though, for sure.
Well, I've definitely considered going to Greece and just trying to start over. So maybe not live there the rest of my life, but that kind of is a dream. So
I think, yes. Look, I moved to another state and really I knew one person. So I get that part of it for sure. I think it's difficult. If you're not an outgoing person, joining the circus might be the better way of doing it because you become part of a family. The circus is more like a family. And the only thing that I could say because of my circus is wrestling, and it's very carny-like, and the carny lifestyle of traveling all the time and being on the road and going somewhere would be good to some people where you're just experiencing all these things. My only problem with that is when you start looking at like some of the Hollywood ways of circus life. I had a friend who did those. He traveled with the, I wouldn't say a circus, but a carnival. Like he would go set up the carnivals in the parks. Mm-hmm. And he said that when they would test the roller coaster, they'd put all the little people on it to test it. And like it would go by and they'd start pounding the nails back into the track because they'd be moving. I was like, he even told me, he goes, never, ever go on any of those rides. He goes, they're the most dangerous things in the world. And I was like, okay. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I think most people would go to a new country and not know anyone because at least you have a new, fresh start and you get to experience new things. I thought I'd throw the circus one in there because I think it's funny because, I mean, unless you're a clown and you'd probably love the circus.
No, never.
Hey, that's it. 20 questions down. 20 questions. We're going to be doing this again because 20 questions is always fun and you get to open people up. And I think we'll have somebody else on. I'm going to start working with getting a few people on the show.
We keep saying that. We need to just stop it and get them on.
I've asked somebody, but she says she hates her voice. So
please.
She won't do it.
I couldn't even listen to like the first 60 episodes because I didn't like my voice coming back to me. And now it's just like, who cares?
That's what I kind of told her. Because she thinks she has a deeper voice. And
I have a deep voice and I'm doing it.
Exactly. So we'll get her on and we'll get some people to do this. And because I think it would be fun to hear other people and their views on these questions. Because we all have these unique personalities and unique answers.
Yep.
And on that, check out our socials. Make sure that you're going to there and finding out what we're doing, and go to all the different podcasting places and make sure you subscribe so you get the little notification, mostly on Apple and Spotify. I know they just pop up because I see our show come up. And make sure you check us out. Any last words for your 20 questions for the day?
No, just be happy.
Yeah.
Just be happy, people. Like I'm seeing everybody and they're not so happy these days. And you just got to find the grace in the day and be happy.
I agree. Totally. We're going to leave it at that. It's a opinion show. Don't get it twisted. Keep coming back every Wednesday and checking us out. Until next week, that's my co-host Tina. I'm Rob, and we will talk to you later. Bye.
See ya.